This painting looks like a regular painting at first. Innocent, ordinary, typical, but wait until you hear the story behind it. It's more than what meets the eye. It'll burn you from within. Literally. In the world of art, there are stories that transcend the canvas, stories that blur the line between reality and superstition, one of which is the cursed tale of the crying boy. Our story begins with a series of haunting paintings created by the enigmatic artist Bruno Amadio, who was also known by his pseudonym Giovanni Bergolin. The paintings depicted forlorn young boys with tear-filled eyes and a sense of melancholy, as they are often dressed in ragged clothing. The most prominent element in the painting is the young boy's face, which displays intense sadness and vulnerability. The artist employs a high level of detail to capture the nuances of emotion. The boy's eyes are often the focal point, with tear-filled eyes and a gaze that seems to reflect deep inner turmoil. The artist skillfully conveys the pain expression and subtle variations in the boy's facial features to evoke empathy from the viewer. Amadio's technique leans towards realism as he meticulously renders the textures and contours of the boy's skin, hair, and clothing. This attention to detail creates a lifelike quality that draws the viewer into the emotional world of the subject. The strands of hair, the folds in the clothing, and the texture of the tears contribute to the overall authenticity of the portrayal. The paintings often employ a chiaroscuro technique with strong contrasts between light and shadow. This technique emphasizes the emotional intensity of the subject by casting parts of the boy's face in shadow while illuminating his tear-stained cheeks and expressive eyes. The contrast adds depth and dimension to the painting, enhancing the emotional impact. Amadio's color palette tends to be subdued and dominated by earthy tones. Dark browns, grays, and muted blues create a sense of melancholy and somberness. The choice of colors contributes to the overall mood of the paintings, enhancing the emotional resonance. The composition in each painting is centered on the boy's face, often positioned close to the picture plane. This framing allows the viewer to engage directly with the emotions on display and creates an intimate connection. The tight composition also draws attention to the subtle details of the boy's expression. Amadio's brushwork is precise and controlled, especially in the rendering of the boy's facial features and the textures of his clothing. The brushwork becomes more expressive when capturing the tears and emotional distress. This contrast in brushwork adds depth and dynamism to the artwork. But it wasn't the artistry that made these paintings infamous, it was the chilling legend that surrounded them. These paintings gained notoriety due to the widespread urban legend that claimed the artworks were cursed and brought bad luck to their owners. Whispers of a curse began to circulate, a curse that claimed any home that housed the Crying Boy painting would be doomed to face destruction by fire. But that wasn't all. The eerie twist was that while the house would burn, the painting would remain untouched, almost as if protected by some malevolent force. This superstition led to a fear of owning or displaying these artworks, and many people reportedly disposed of them to avoid any potential ill effects. The phenomenon first came to light in early September 1985 when Yorkshire fireman Peter Hall was quoted in a national newspaper saying that fire brigades in the north of England had discovered instances of the same picture remaining untouched in fires while causes were still unknown. Hall came forward after his brother Ron Hall, who did not believe the story and purposefully purchased a copy of The Crying Boy to disprove the jinx, discovered his home in Swallownest, South Yorkshire, strangely burned down soon after. Ron Hall put his boot through the image after realizing it had been taken undamaged from the scorched wreckage. Media outlets seized upon the chilling tale, sensationalizing reports of house fires and linking them to the cursed paintings. Sensational headlines fueled the growing hysteria, and soon, the Crying Boy became a household name, synonymous with darkness and dread. The popularity of horror stories and fascination with the supernatural contributed to spreading the legend. Horror movies, books, and other forms of media capitalized on the cursed narrative, further cementing it in popular culture. As the legend grew, skeptics and investigators delved into the truth behind the curse. They sought to debunk the notion that a painting could possess such sinister powers. With rational explanations in hand, they challenged the validity of the curse. One of them included Steve Punt, a British writer and comedian, who studied the curse of the Crying Boy painting for a BBC Radio 4 production titled Punt PI. After testing the painting at the building research establishment, the show came to the conclusion that the prints were treated with fire-retardant varnish, so when the paintings were exposed to fire, the strings holding the painting to the wall would be the first to perish, therefore causing the painting to land face down on the floor, safe from its burning surroundings. However, no other explanation was provided as to why other paintings were also turning up unscathed. But since then, there was no concrete evidence to support the idea that the paintings themselves were cursed or caused fires. The widespread belief in the curse can be attributed to media sensationalism, urban legends, and the human tendency to connect unrelated events. The paintings themselves were part of a mass-produced art genre in the mid-20th century, and the artist Bruno Amadio likely had no intention of imbuing them with any sort of supernatural power. Beyond the myths and fears, there lies the truth. Bruno Amadio's paintings were a reflection of human emotion, capturing the essence of sorrow and innocence. They were mass-produced and distributed widely, making it statistically more likely for them to be present in households that faced various tragedies, including fires. As to why Amadio chose to paint this kind of subject, there are several angles that we can look at. First is that artists often use their work as a means to convey emotions and tap into the human experience. The melancholic portrayal of crying children could have been a way for Amadio to capture and convey deep feelings of sadness, vulnerability, and empathy. The post-World War II era during which Amadio was active was marked by a sense of trauma and emotional upheaval. Artists of this time often used their work to process and reflect upon the complex emotions of the period. The emotional depth of the paintings and the use of symbolism might have been a way for Amadio to create a connection between his artwork and the viewers. The image of a crying child can evoke strong emotions and invite viewers to reflect on their own experiences. As the dust settles, one thing remains clear. The Crying Boy paintings, though steeped in superstition, are a testament to the power of storytelling. The human fascination with the unknown and the desire to believe in the extraordinary continue to shape our perceptions of the world around us. And so the mystery of the Crying Boy lives on, not as a cursed relic, but as a reminder of the intricate interplay between art, folklore, and the human imagination. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the mysterious world of the Crying Boy. If you enjoyed this exploration, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more intriguing tales. Until next time, remember, the stories you tell have the power to shape reality, whether in paint or in words.